everybody should have notes. Yes? Yes? Everybody should have a survey? Yes? Everybody should have one of my cards? Everybody got gift certificates to R. Thomas Grill? Yay! You didn't know you get free presents today, did you? Did everybody know about R. Thomas? You don't know about R. Thomas Grill? Hey, Richard, raise your hand. That's R. Thomas. And Richard was kind enough to give everybody gift certificates to his restaurant tonight, come to my lecture, so that was very kind of you. Thank you, Richard, for doing that. If you don't have one, make sure you grab one or two. It's a great place. If you've never been there, they're open 24 hours a day. Can I tell you a story? Can I brag about you? All right. Richard used to be the president of a small company called Kentucky Fried Chicken. You may have heard of them. Richard then started his own small company called Bojangles. That's the founder of Bojangles. Several years ago, Richard came to a realization that he was killing people with what he was serving them. Sold the whole chain of Bojangles and opened up R. Thomas right here in Atlanta for us to enjoy. So isn't that great? He's my friend. 29 years they've been open. Richard was 7 when they opened. It's amazing. All right, ready to get started? All right, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Glad you could be here. How many people listen to me on radio? This is what I look like. Sorry. What we're going to talk about today is the 7 deadly sins of nutrition. This is the core of a lifestyle change. This is the basic lecture. And I want you to get this because if you're already a vegan, if you're a raw foodist, if you're just starting out in this world, welcome. It's a great place to be. After studying for 30 years now, I'm board certified in chiropractic, I'm board certified in orthopedics, I'm double board certified in nutrition, I have a BS in clinical nutrition, I was a dietitian at one point, award-winning author, I host one of the largest radio shows in the country right now. If you go to my website, which is on my card, we have about 500 hours of radio shows, absolutely free. They're yours to take, download, steal them, give them to your friends. I have a YouTube channel. Some people are visual learners, some people are auditory. If you're a visual learner, go to the YouTube channel. If you're an auditory learner, go to the website. I also have articles there. I've written my first book is an award-winning book. I'm working on my second one. If you want my books or some of my CDs, I'll have a table. I gotta say this now. In the back left-hand, this back room back there, back left-hand corner. Okay? Everybody that's here, I gotta say it now right away because I may run out of time. If you're interested in having a vegan doctor like myself, actually myself, everybody, there's some flyers out there. If you just call my office, I'd like to give everybody here an examination, consultation. If we need x-rays, I'll even take x-rays for you, and an adjustment absolutely free. Okay, that's about $500, $600 worth of service. It's absolutely free. So Richard and I make a good team. Anyway, we're going to talk about 7 deadly sins of nutrition. Actually, there's 8. If you smoke, you can pretty much ignore what I'm going to say. So, you'll die anyway. But 7 deadly sins of nutrition. These are the 7 foods, if you put them in your body, you're going to get you sick. It's really simple because everybody, they come to me and they say, Dr. Joe, I want to get well. I understand I've got to get my spine working, my digestive system working. I've got to eat well, but I just don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. And so here's the beginning. 7 foods that if you put in your body are going to get you sick. Those 7 foods: alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. My God, that's everything. Corporations bring me in as a speaker, and it's funny because I'll say that and everybody's faces. There's nothing left. Actually, there's 120,000 foods that you can eat that are good for you. So 120,000 good foods, 7 you shouldn't eat. That's not a bad deal, is it? Okay, if I was going to give you $120,000, you give me 7 back, no strings attached. Good deal? Anybody not take that deal? Okay, this is more valuable than $120,000, what you're going to learn today. Because imagine if we could just add, I don't know, 8 years to your life. Would that be cool? Yeah. Do you know vegetarians live an average of 8 years longer than non-vegetarians? And that's not vegans, that's vegetarians. So there's 8 quality years. That's not a bad deal, is it? 8 quality years to your life just by not doing something. The neat part about doing this lifestyle is it's not active, it's passive. You have to not do something. How many people would love to not go to work and get paid? Right? So that's what I'm teaching. I want to teach you to not do things, not to do things. There's plenty of food out there. I've been a vegan 28 years now. I've never missed a meal. I do cruises, I do corporate workshops, I do seminars. I've been in practice in Marietta, Georgia, almost 30 years now. I still practice 6 days a week. I saw patients this morning before coming here. I love what I do. One of the reasons. What?
And you're good.
And I'm, oh, thank you. Pay you later. But I love what I do, and it's fun, because what could be a better job than getting people well? I have a 9-year-old daughter, and she said, I'm a single dad, and she came to me the other day, she said, Dad, what do you love most about your job? And I said, I love the fact that people get well. And it's really cool when people come in, and usually they end up on my doorstep as a last resort. I don't know what else to do. Then everybody else, you're my last hope. And then a few weeks later, they're like, wow, I'm better. And the biggest complaint we get is, why didn't somebody tell me this sooner? And so that's what's cool about what we're doing here. We can go tell people what we're doing so that they don't have to wait any longer to get well. So let's go through the 7 deadly sins. Okay, alcohol. Alcohol destroys what? Brain cells. How many people knew that? How many people forgot that? Those are the ones that went to college. So alcohol destroys brain cells. Your brain controls what? Everything. There's about 80 trillion cells in your body. Every cell is controlled because your brain tells it what to do. Right now, your brain is sending messages down your spine, out your nerves, to every cell in the body. So there's a nerve controlling your liver, and there's a nerve controlling your pancreas, your spleen, your kidneys, your gallbladder, your earwax. Everything is controlled because the brain has to tell it what to do. When you drink alcohol, you destroy brain cells. A little bit of alcohol, a little bit of brain damage. A lot of alcohol, a lot of brain damage. There you go. Good. So the brain controls everything. And years ago, when I would teach, I would say, once a brain cell is dead, it's dead forever. I was wrong. It turns out your brain can regenerate. And your brain regenerates at an amazing rate. And if it can't regenerate, the brain is smart enough to rewire itself. So if I damage the part of my brain that controls this hand, if somebody has a stroke, let's say, so this part of the brain can rewire itself, and the body can start to heal. So brain damage is not forever in a lot of cases. And that's real exciting. The nerves need 3 things to function: oxygen, stimulation, and nutrition. Now the oxygen is breathing. Most of us don't breathe properly. That's a whole nother lecture. Stimulation is movement, getting the body moving, and then nutrition is where we come in, giving the body the raw materials to work. We are not plugged into the wall, so we have to generate our own electricity. Where do we generate electricity from? The food we eat. Bad food, bad electricity. Good food, good electricity. If I was going to buy a battery for a smoke detector in my house, I would want to get the best battery there was. Why? Make sure the smoke detector works. Yet we put junk food in our body and expect it to work. Doesn't make any sense. So a little bit of alcohol, a little bit of brain damage. Now people say, but Dr. Joe, I heard that, what's good for your heart? Red wine. Why not white wine? Red wine has sugar too. Why not beer? Why not scotch? Why red wine? It's not the wine that's good for you, it's the red. It's the grapes, it's the red grapes with resveratrol and proanthocyanidins. The darker the color, generally speaking, the more nutrition the food's going to have. So it's not the wine that's good, it's the red part, it's the grapes that are good for you. So here's a novel idea. What if we ate grapes? What a concept. And many times wine has sulfites in it. All wine has sulfites in it, naturally occurring. And this is the kicker. We talk about something resveratrol. Everybody know what that is? Resveratrol is something found in grapes. It can actually it can reverse the aging process. It's really cool stuff. The problem is this. If the wine isn't organic, they spray the wine with pesticides and fungicides. The grape has to be attacked by the fungus to produce the resveratrol. Resveratrol is an anti-aging component in the grape itself. So if you're eating non-organic wine, you're not getting the resveratrol because it was never attacked by the fungus. Wow. So if you're going to drink wine, don't. But if you do, I am Italian, if you do, make sure it's organic. Now here's the rule, wine's a diuretic. You ever notice how you drink 1 glass of wine, you pee out 3? Where do those other 2 wines come from? Your body is giving up its own vital fluid to get the alcohol out of the system to protect the brain, because the brain controls what? Everything. So if you're going to drink wine, for every glass of wine or beer you drink, you have to have 3 glasses of water. Fair enough? 2 things. Number 1, you rehydrate your body and your brain. Number 2, you'll be in the bathroom so much. you won't drink so much. Did you get exercise? Walking to the bathroom, stimulating the nerves. So alcohol may not be your drink of choice. Sugar. Sugar's good for you, right? Gives you energy. It's on TV. Must be good for you if you drink this certain sugar candy or this certain soda, you'll get energy. Must be true, right? TV doesn't lie, do it? So sugar gives you energy. It's not true. Plain old table sugar, 50% glucose, 50% sucrose. Sucrose and fructose, I'm sorry. Glucose and fructose. Glucose goes into your cells, is used as energy. Fructose does not get used as energy. I'm going to talk about fruit here for a second and tell you why you might be eating too much fruit. Fructose has to go into your liver to be broken down. If you have more than 25 grams of fructose in a day, your body starts producing something called uric acid. Uric acid gets into your joints and it hurts. What's the famous disease that uric acid is related to? Gout, exactly. But all the joints can get uric acid in them and they hurt. I'm a chiropractor. I deal with pain every single day. And I'll say, Doc, I'm going to line up your spine for you, open up the nerve supply, balance out the nervous system, but you got to stop producing the uric acid so the joints stop hurting. More than 25 grams of fructose converts into uric acid. Uric acid prevents the body from producing something called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a vasodilator. It opens up your blood vessels. Why do we need good blood supply? Brain function? Heart? Romance? Okay? I'm amazed. The kids here, right? Okay. Keep it clean. I'm amazed how many young guys come into my office in their 20s. Doc, I can't do that. And I'm like, really? So I check two things. Number one, the nerve supply in the low back controls the colon, the sex organs, and the bladder. So if you're having trouble with your colon, sex organs, and bladder, the first place I look is the nerve supply to those organs. Makes sense. The second thing is I look at their diet. If they're having a lot of high fructose corn syrup or fructose, converting it to uric acid prevents nitric oxide production, you can't get good circulation, and guess what? It ain't gonna work. Anybody ever watch a sporting event? What's every third commercial for? Little blue pills. It's a popular problem. And a lot of it is because diet. And now we have fructose, and that's why if you're going to eat fruit, I'm a vegan, folks, I'm mostly raw. If you're going to eat fruit, no more than about 4 or 5 pieces a day. Anything more than that is too much fructose, converting it to uric acid, preventing nitric oxide production. So sugar's bad. Okay? What's worse than sugar? Came out in the 70s. High fructose corn syrup. Wow. We said that table sugar, sucrose, is half glucose, half fructose. High fructose corn syrup is only 5% more fructose than table sugar. It's about 55% fructose, 45% glucose. Not much. That 5% is what does the damage. So high fructose corn syrup really can damage the liver. When I went to school, a long time ago, we were taught that if you have fatty liver, it came from one condition, alcoholism. Now we're finding fatty liver in 5-year-olds. Scary stuff. What do kids eat all day? High fructose corn syrup. And not only is the high fructose corn syrup bad, it's fattening. If I gave you 100 calories of sucrose, plain old table sugar, 110 calories, 1 calorie gets stored as fat. If I gave you 110 calories of high fructose corn syrup, 40 calories get stored as fat. So essentially, it's 40 times more fattening. Where do we find high fructose corn syrup? Everywhere. Scary, isn't it? Wondering why so many people are overweight? It's one of your reasons. And a lot of, I'm assuming most, if not all, of high fructose corn syrup is made with something we all know and love called genetically modified corn. Here's the problem. A lot of people jump up and down, don't do GMOs, don't do GMOs. Let me tell you why. Aside from it altering the DNA of the food, when it gets in your body doesn't recognize genetically modified foods because it's a new protein. When I say new, we as humans have been eating food for a long time now. Suddenly we have this new protein introduced into our body. If I have time, I'll cover wheat and how that works too. So this new protein gets into the body attacks it. The immune system's job is to attack foreign proteins. So it attacks the immune system attacks it, but now certain molecules in your body might look like this protein. So now the immune system is attacking yourself. You know what gluten is, right? Gluten's a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. Gluten has a component called gliadin, but I don't know if I have time for that. But gluten, the body attacks it, and the villi, the hairs inside your small intestine that absorb nutrients, look like gluten. So the body attacks the gluten, and if you're sensitive, it can start attacking the villi in your small intestine. And it causes an inflammatory reaction. And if you're really bad, you have something called celiac disease. Most of us have some reaction to it. And it's an inflammatory reaction. That inflammatory reaction becomes systemic. It means it goes through the whole body. And if it gets into the brain, it causes neurological damage. Brain controls what?
Everything.
Is that you following? So that's why gluten is not a good thing. And we've genetically engineered gluten, wheat, as time has gone on in the 70s and 80s. And so it's not even pure wheat anymore. It's not the wheat your grandmother ate. If you were born in the 50s and 60s or sooner, it's not the wheat you ate. It's different. So here's your challenge. Give up all wheat, barley, and rye for 10 days. On the 11th day, have a bagel. Why a bagel? High gluten dough. See how you feel. If you feel rotten, you have a reaction to it. Okay, what do I mean feel rotten? Gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, acid reflux, brain fog. All of that can occur, and you think, well, I'm just tired today. Gosh, I'm a little gassy today. I feel bloated today. It's probably due to the essentially an autoimmune reaction, your body attacking it. And that's why the GMOs are dangerous, and we're finding more and more studies, long-term human studies coming out now on the GMOs. So, corn, what's the other one that's genetically modified so often? Soy, there you go. If you're going to do soy, somebody just asked me this, the doctor in the front row here just asked me that about soy. If you're going to do soy, you shouldn't. But if you do, it has to be organic, and it has to be fermented. What's a fermented soy? Tempeh, miso, natto. Anybody eat natto? Nasty. Bad socks. It's a fermented soybean. It's nasty. But anyway, fermented soy, when the bacteria get in there, create the fermentation, they break down the proteins. There's chemicals in soy and other beans called protease inhibitors and enzyme inhibitors, so it prevents you from breaking it down properly. When you ferment it, you break down the protease inhibitor, allowing protease and other enzymes to digest it better. Pretty cool. Okay? If you're going to do soy, do that. Now, so we're talking about sugar. The only thing worse than sugar is high fructose corn syrup. The only thing worse than high fructose corn syrup, what do you think it is? Artificial sweetener. Okay? I'm going to cover briefly artificial sweetener. I can give you 3 hours on this. Aspartame, the blue packet, breaks down to 3 components: aspartic acid, phenylalanine, and methyl esters. Aspartic acid is what's called an excitotoxin. It makes your brain get excited. We need aspartic acid to function. Your brain needs it to work. Too much of it, when it's isolated without the other amino acids, is where the problem comes in. So too much aspartic acid gets into the brain and excites the brain to the point where you can actually start killing off brain cells. Am I correct, doctor? So far, so good? And also, it's probably made, we think it's made, with a genetically modified E. coli. What's E. coli? You know. So that's where we're getting the aspartame from. So you got to be careful with that. It also breaks down to phenylalanine and methyl esters. Methyl esters is methanol. Methanol is what?
Alcohol.
Alcohol. It's wood alcohol. Many years ago, this gal I had an interest in, she finally told me after a while that she was an alcoholic. And she asked me to go to an AA meeting with her. Now, I'd never been to an AA meeting, and I didn't realize how big this was to bring an outsider in. And the thing that surprised me, number one, I saw 4 of my patients there. Explain to them why I'm there. And the second thing was that a lot of these folks are drinking diet soda. Why are they drinking diet soda? They're skinny. I think it was the caffeine. Started doing my research. Methanol, methyl esters converts to methanol, which is wood alcohol. They were drinking alcohol at the AA meeting. Wow. Okay? Not a good thing. I go on and on about artificial sweeteners. Don't do it. Okay? It's a neurotoxin. It destroys the brain. Brain controls what?
Everything.
All right. So artificial sweetener, not my food of choice. So we covered alcohol. We covered sugar. We covered high fructose corn syrup. We covered artificial sweetener. Dairy? Nah, not yet. Coffee? Uh-oh. Get mad at me? If you're going to do coffee, don't. But if you do, I beg of you, please do organic. The reason is nothing has more synthetic pesticides aside from coffee. Except for cigarettes, which we already discussed. We spray lots of pesticides on our coffee, and then we drink it. Now, those pesticides do several things. Number one, they kill the bugs. Sometimes they alter the reproduction capabilities of the bugs, so they don't make more babies. They alter the hormone levels, and if you're drinking coffee, you're drinking these pesticides. Very, very dangerous. Plus, that's caffeine. Caffeine doesn't give you energy. Caffeine robs your body of energy. When you put a toxin in your body, whatever it is, alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweeteners, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, glutens, you put these in your body does one of two things with it. It either stores it or passes it out. That's it. That's all your body can do with the poison. It can't utilize it for life. It either stores it or passes it out. So what happens is you put coffee in your body, it makes you pee, right? And more. Some people have to have my coffee, go to the bathroom in the morning. It opens up their bowels. It's trying to get rid of those toxins. So when you put coffee in your body, it doesn't give you energy. Your body has to give up its stored energy to get the coffee out of the system. Make sense? So if you're a coffee addict, I understand that. What you need to do is, if you want to, try to wean yourself off. Now in my book, I have a chapter called Kicking the Habit. And you should buy the book, by the way. We have plenty of them back there. We have about 300 books with us, so buy them all so I don't have to take them home. Because I'm lazy. But what happens is, the coffee gets into the system, your body gets dependent on it. So how do you wean yourself off coffee? Because if you cut out coffee, you're going to get what? Headaches, right. Here's your trick. Get a cup of coffee in front of you. Black coffee, organic, no cream, no sugar. And take 1 tablespoon every hour. That's going to give you just enough coffee to get you through to the next hour. After a few hours, you're going to forget, because you're going to start feeling better. The longest it's ever taken to get somebody off coffee you really want to quit was 4 days. The other thing is, coffee's a diuretic. Remember, you drink 1 cup, you pee out 3. You got to drink a lot of water. The #1 reason people are tired is because most of the time I find they're dehydrated. Anybody have babies? Okay? What's too tired to raise your hand? If you have a baby, what do they want to do? I want to drink, I want to drink, I want to drink, right? Always have to drink sippy cups. As they get older, they're not drinking as much. Now they're getting bigger, they should be drinking more, not less, right? What's happening is, there's a part of your brain when you're born that controls hunger. There's another part of your brain that controls thirst. And as you get older, even as a toddler, those 2 parts of the brain grow together. So in most cases, when you're hungry, you're not hungry, you're thirsty. And you just don't know it yet. If you get to the point of being thirsty, you're already into the state of dehydration. So you need to drink lots of water. How much water is enough? Well, you can tell by your pee. Your pee should be clear. You should be able to read a newspaper through your pee. Don't try that. Whoever you live with is going to yell at me for telling you that. Unless you're doing B vitamins, your urine should be clear enough to read a newspaper through. If it's not, you've got a problem. If the urine is cloudy, if it has chunks in it, if it's stinky, something's wrong. You're not drinking enough water. So make sure you drink water. Now we have a problem. A lot of people drink tap water. I'm going to go off on a tangent here. Pull me back if I get lost here. You drink tap water. Tap water is high in chlorine. Fluorine. What happens is when you drink fluorine and chlorine, it can block up your thyroid. There are certain chemicals called haloids, fluoride, bromine, chlorine, bromine, chlorine, fluoride, and iodine. Correct, doctor? And they're all haloids. What that means is they look a lot alike. So if you drink tap water or use toothpaste with fluorine and chloride in it, and they block up your thyroid, you can't absorb the iodine. And now we can have a thyroid condition. And that's not good. #1, most of us don't get enough iodine. This group, maybe, but this would probably be the only group I speak to all year that would probably get enough iodine in their diet because we eat seaweed. But if you're drinking tap water, you're not able to utilize the iodine as well as you should. Now, if you use commercial toothpaste, I want you to go home today, and I want you to pick up the box and read the side of the box. And on the box, there'll be a warning. It says, caution, harmful if swallowed, call poison control. It's toothpaste! And they're saying, don't swallow it. Where do you put toothpaste? Mouth. If you have a child, the size of a pea is enough to put him in poison control and rush him to the hospital. That's enough fluoride to put a child in a hospital. So if you're going to do water, I would at least recommend, the minimum, a reverse osmosis filter for underneath your sink. Go to the big box stores, get a reverse osmosis filter. You can install it yourself. They're pretty easy to install. If you're not that handy, somebody can do it for you. And at least drink that water and wash your fruits and vegetables with the reverse osmosis water. If you come to my house, my water filter is this big and this far around. It filters every drop of water in my house. Because if I'm going to take a shower, my pores open up. I can absorb enough chlorine as if I drank 8 glasses of water just from a shower. Because my pores open up. I'm sucking it through my skin. Your skin is a sponge. Anything that comes in contact with your skin gets absorbed. Okay? So ladies, I'm assuming ladies, you put makeup on? What happens to it at the end of the day? It's gone. Where'd it go? You absorbed it. Okay, so if you're a vegan, a lot of the animal products out there, a lot of the makeups have animal products in it. Bright red lipstick? What do you think makes it bright red? Red dye? Where do you think you get red dye from? Bugs. They grind up beetle shells. So if you're a vegan, you're eating beetle shells. But most things that are bright red, a lot of things that are bright red, it's, I think, from Indonesia, the bugs, right? They grind them up, and that's what makes it bright red. So they did a study on lipstick. All the commercial lipsticks in this country, all of them, had high lead content. Wow. Pretty scary stuff. Okay, so if you're doing makeup, remember, it's getting absorbed, I promise. Anything that comes in contact with your skin will get absorbed instantly into your body. Okay, let me see if I can show you that. Okay, nope. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, this is plain old sugar. Okay? I usually have a packet of artificial sweetener in there too. Yep, okay, there we go. So, we talked about the blue packet, let's talk about the yellow packet for a second. The yellow packet is a chlorinated hydrocarbon, it's sucralose. Sucralose is a chlorinated hydrocarbon. What that means is we take sugar and we process it. I think it's 5 steps that go through, and we add chlorine to it. It's a chlorinated hydrocarbon. And what happens is if you put sucralose in your body, it can stimulate your estrogen receptor sites. Now, let's go off on a tangent with hormones here. We all have estrogen. We all have testosterone. And the ovaries produce it, the testicles produce it. But there's a thing called your adrenal glands that sit right up here on your kidneys. And your adrenal glands produce something called DHEA. DHEA is your building block to a lot of hormones. And if you're under a lot of stress, instead of this DHEA converting into things like testosterone, it converts into something called cortisol. Cortisol is your stress hormone. Cortisol makes you fat. Bellies, especially, men and women, oftentimes that's a cortisol reaction. So what we have to do is make sure the adrenals are working properly. There's a problem with the adrenals, though. They're little tiny glands. I think they're 5 grams each. And what happens is they produce adrenaline, which gives you what? Energy. They produce DHEA, which causes hormone production, or is the building block for hormones. And they also produce prostaglandins. Prostaglandin E2 causes inflammation. Prostaglandin E3 brings down the inflammation. So they mediate inflammation. They balance the inflammation. And so if your adrenal glands are burned out from stress, coffee, dehydration, pinched nerve in the low back that controls the adrenals, now you're not producing enough DHEA, which can affect your hormone levels. Then you throw in something that's going to act like estrogen. Estrogen causes you to lay down fat. Fat produces estrogen. Estrogen causes you to lay down fat. See the cycle? So that's why when you're fat, it's hard to lose weight, and that's why it's harder for women to lose weight than it is for men. Because women are estrogen dominant, men are more testosterone dominant. Pretty cool. Follow all that? That's a lot of stuff, isn't it? So let's assume we were going to take some sucralose and put it in our body. Want to see what it does to you? Any volunteers to come up here? It's okay to be on camera? You want to come up? Come on up. Okay? Her hand is sprung up there. Wow. What's your name? Jordan, I'm Joe. Nice to see you. All right, this is Jordan, okay? Okay, how old are you?
I'm 19.
I have socks older than you. Okay, so put your arms straight out. Push up real hard. Now she's 19, nice and strong, prime of her life. Okay, now we said anything that comes in contact with your body gets absorbed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so put your hand out. I'm just going to have you hold this, okay? Just wrap your hand around it. Now it takes about 30 seconds to get into the body, but watch what happens in 30 seconds. I'm not asking you to eat it, I'm just asking you to hold it, right? Okay. So your skin is a sponge. Anything that comes in contact with it gets absorbed. So I want you to consider this with the soap you use, the shampoo you use, the toothpaste, the deodorant. Anything that comes in contact with your body gets absorbed. And you guys are obviously into health, you wouldn't be here, so you got to be careful not just what you eat, but what you come in contact with. So remember we said that things can affect the nervous system, right? Nervous system controls what? Everything. Watch what happens to my new friend. Put your arm straight out. Push up real hard. Push up again. Isn't that freaky? Okay. Run it over there somewhere. Just on the floor. But, wow. Jordan is 19 years old. She didn't eat it. You go back if you want to stay here. Sit up front. Okay. She didn't eat it. She held it in her hand for 30 seconds, right? Every muscle in her body went weak. What would happen if Jordan liked to drink diet sodas, sugar-free gum, breath fresheners? Where do we find artificial sweetener? Everywhere. It's in over 6,000 products. And that works the same test if we use plain sugar, if we use sucralose, if we use aspartame, now a new product out called neotame, another artificial sweetener, Ace K. These are all the artificial sweeteners. I've tried it with everything. Boom, I knew it was going to happen. The muscles drop. So be careful, not just what you eat, but what comes in contact with your body. Kind of interesting. So if you're going to use deodorant, do. Okay? No. But what I do is I take 2 parts rubbing alcohol, 1 part water. Put it in a spray bottle, and I add tea tree oil to it. And it works wonders. Got the high sign from the doctor up front here. It works wonders. If you want to get really crazy, get some baking soda and add a little tea tree oil to it. Or spray on the alcohol and then put the baking soda to make it stick, if you want to get crazy. But those are natural ways that you can prevent yourself from stinking and not putting the poisons into your system. Perfumes. I can't go out with somebody who wears perfume. It stinks. You ever been that way? What happens is the perfumes can affect your hormones as well. They're called endocrine disruptors, parabens. Other chemicals in perfumes and cosmetics can affect your hormones. So I can give you a whole hour or 2 lecture just on cosmetics. But please stay away from that. Or make better choices. And what's neat is we've got a lot of vendors here at the Atlanta Veg Fest 2013. Put the plug in there for the video. That the vendors are selling these natural products. It's really neat stuff. Okay? Even dish soap. Get a natural dish soap. You don't want to eat that stuff. If you wouldn't eat your dish soap, you shouldn't be putting on your dishes because you're eating it. Clothes soap. I have patients come to me all the time. Dr. Joe, I itch everywhere. What is it? I had a roommate many, many years ago, and she was a sweet little girl. When I say little, she was 4'10". And she used to, if I do wash, she would do my laundry for me and then fold it for me. And it was so wonderful. It's like I had my own little built-in maid. And ever since Kay moved in, I was itching. Didn't know why. Finally, one day I went to get my own laundry dryer sheets. The dryer sheets were causing contact dermatitis. I was having a skin reaction, and I was itching like a crazy man. I said, Kay, please stop using the dryer sheets. She did. Itching went away. So I didn't even know it was there, and I was having a reaction to it. So be careful what comes in contact with your body. Okay? So we did alcohol, we did sugar, we did artificial sweetener, alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, cup of coffee, soda. Well, soda's kind of like the artificial sweetener. Now also, bubbling water is slightly acidic. Seltzer, you know the difference between seltzer and club soda? Here's your useless fact for the day. Club soda has salt in it, seltzer doesn't. There's your useless fact for the day. But if you have a stain on your clothes, what do you use? Club soda. It's a mild acid. It will dissolve the stain. So it's a mild acid. So if you're going to drink that and that's your biggest sin, that's okay. But if you're going to drink that along with everything else in bad, you want to try to cut back on that. So the artificial sweeteners are bad. Even the lining that they use in the cans are bad. So let's go off on that for a second there. Canned foods. What do we use to line the cans now? Bisphenol A, BPA. Anybody ever see that BPA free? Yeah. Okay? That's good. I like that. Bisphenol A is an endocrine disruptor. It messes with your hormones. Remember hormones? They control everything. So it messes with your hormones, the bisphenol A. Bad stuff. A lot of companies are now saying BPA free, they're using bisphenol S. Bisphenol S is just as bad as BPA. BPA free. So that's why, especially acidic foods like tomatoes, always buy organic. And if they are organic, you might want to call the company and ask them if they use bisphenol A or bisphenol S. Sneaky. And if they don't, then it's probably okay to use the canned ones. If not, get those like Terrapacks or bottled tomatoes. Those are okay. But even tomato juice careful, those acids. Ketchup. Ketchup, by the way, is about 48% sugar. Now they're using fructose. And now a lot of companies are coming out and saying no fructose. At least that's a step in the right direction. Okay? So you got to be careful with the chemicals getting into your system, not just your food. Did alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy? Let's do dairy. Meat or dairy? Dairy first? All right. Cow's milk is made for what? Cows. Any cows in the audience? Cow's milk is made for baby cows. Key word there. Baby. You can't feed milk to an adult cow. It doesn't work. I said on my radio show the other day that if you feed pasteurized, homogenized, store-bought milk to a baby cow, they'll die in 4 weeks. I got an email. The guy said, you were wrong. It's 8 weeks. I stand corrected. Okay? So if you feed the stuff you buy at the grocery store to a baby cow, designed to drink cow's milk, right? Baby cow, cow will die in about 8 weeks. Wow. Isn't that wild? We pasteurize it, we homogenize it, it ruins the chemical structure. When you heat something, you kill off the bacteria, you kill off the good bacteria and the bad, you also kill off something called enzymes. Now, enzymes are necessary for every single thing that happens in your body. You're blinking your eyes, you're scratching your ear, your hair is growing, your ears are forming wax. All that's formed by enzyme. Hers aren't. I don't know. This is serious stuff. We've got to make it light, you know? So. Oh, another fun. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. Side note, remind me to come back to dairy products, okay? And enzymes, so I'll forget. From now until spring, I want you to stop doing one thing. Remember, everything's passive when I teach you? I want you to stop cleaning your ears. The reason is, try this. If you get sick, what do you usually get sick? You get a sore throat where? On either side of your throat. That's what your eustachian tube is. You need that earwax. It's there. It's nature's protector. It keeps the cooties and the bugs and the viruses, germs, and bacteria from getting into your body. If you clean out with those cotton swabs, which, by the way, it says do not clean your ears with. You know better than that. Get in there and dig around, and you clean out all the wax. Now you have an easy portal of entry for viruses, germs, bacteria, cooties, and everything else. So if you stop cleaning your ears, the chance of you getting a cold drops dramatically. How cool is that? It'll clean itself. Now you can get a washcloth and clean here, but no digging in there. Not allowed. Isn't that fun? More fun facts. I've done about 500 or so radio shows, countless lectures, and I've never repeated the same lecture. Okay, so we got a lot of fun stuff we can talk about for hours. They said, how long are you speaking for? I said, how long do I have? So, enzymes. Everything in your body needs enzymes. As soon as you cook something above 110 degrees, you destroy the enzymes. And so what happens is when you're a kid, you're producing lots of enzymes, you have stores of enzymes, and everybody's happy. And as you get older, your enzyme levels plummet. And as your enzyme levels plummet, you need to replace those enzymes. How do you replace them? Raw food. Anybody ever study Pottinger's cats? That's a weird study, I know. Dr. Pottinger, he's decided he's going to take one group of cats and feed them raw meat, one group and feed them cooked meat. See what happened. By the third generation of the cats eating nothing but cooked meat, they were sterile, most of them. They developed human diseases, very small litters if they did have children, heart disease, diabetes, cancer, from eating cooked meat versus raw meat. So if you ever buy dog food, cat food, you're thinking, yeah, but I give my dog and cat dog food and it's meat. It's meat byproducts. Not sure what that is. But what do they add to it? Vitamins, minerals, nutrients, nutritional yeast. They add a lot of vitamins, minerals, and nutrients so the dog and cat stay alive. Most dogs and cats are fed way better than you are. Not you, but you. Okay? You guys are here. So you got to get those vitamins, minerals, and nutrients because if you're eating nothing but cooked food, you're depleting your body's stores of enzymes. And the enzymes make everything happy. That's why a good rule, even if you're a vegetarian, is have at least one thing raw at every meal. Could be a piece of fruit, could be broccoli, could be celery, could be carrots, could be a salad. Something raw at every meal. That's going to help replace the enzymes. The more raw, the better. Okay? Now, I'm not 100% raw because it's a lot of work. I'm lazy. But try to get raw food. A salad is raw. A thing of carrots, peel them and eat them. They're raw. Celery's raw. You don't have to make a big elaborate thing. And in my book, first half of the book tells you how to change your diet. Second half of the book is over 200 of my favorite recipes. And I'll pick any page. Easy, quick, everything in here you can buy at any grocery store. It's not hard. Okay, I'm Italian. I took a lot of my favorite Italian recipes and converted them. Everything is vegan, everything is gluten-free, everything is soy-free. So if you don't know what to eat, you need to have this book. Now, signed copies of this are selling for twice the cover price on eBay. I don't want anybody buying a case of these, okay? So know what you'll be doing with them. Selling them. So, but get a copy of the book. It's a great guide on what to eat and what not to eat, too. Okay? Now, let's talk a little bit more physical. Because more dairy? Want more dairy stuff? There's guidelines on dairy. Now, I found this out, and I have to stand corrected again. I used to say that many commercial cows are injected with something called somatotrophic recombinant bovine growth hormone. And when we inject it into the cow, it caused the cow to produce more milk than natural, sometimes 2 and 3 times the amount of milk. Now, in the Southeast, I have a patient of mine who's a chemist and a veterinarian who works with the dairy industry in the Southeast, and she told me the dairy growers in the Southeast have voluntarily said, we're not going to use this anymore. So I have to stand corrected. In the Southeast, where we are, that's not an issue. But if a cow is injected with recombinant somatotrophic bovine growth hormone, they produce more milk than they're supposed to. And the udders become engorged. When they become engorged, they can tear. They become infected. So what do we give the cows then? Antibiotics. Antibiotics, right. That gets into the milk. But if you have an infection in a cow, even a cow without this chemical in it, if there's an infection, pus can get into the milk. So there's a guideline. The guideline is this: no more than 750,000 pus cells, or red blood cells, in 8 drops of milk. Makes it creamy. So regardless of what else you think about the pus in the milk, potentially, and don't eat it. Now, there's a protein in milk called casein. When you're a child, all mammals, by the way, produce casein in their breast milk. So mommies produce breast milk and casein, and human casein, and dogs have dog casein, and cats have cat casein, and cows have cow casein. And as you get older, your casein levels, they produce renin. Let me back up on that. Renin is the enzyme to break down the casein, okay? So the animals produce the casein, you produce renin to break down the casein. As we get older, our renin levels drop dramatically. So we can't digest the milk like we used to. And if the body sees a foreign protein, remember foreign proteins? The immune system attacks it. And when the immune system attacks it, it can attack yourself. And that's when you have an autoimmune reaction. Sometimes there are proteins that look like the thyroid gland. It can attack the thyroid. It can attack the colon. So you got to be careful with that. Now, when we make cheese, many times they'll use renin, or rennet it's called, to make the cheese curdle. Where do we get rennet from that would work on cow's milk? Baby cow stomachs. So when they kill the baby cows, they scrape out the stomach, and they add that to the cheese to make it cheese. So you're saying, I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat animal products, but I eat cheese. I'm a lacto-vegetarian. Well, guess what? You probably eat baby cow stomach. So you might want to consider looking at your cheese and finding out where it's getting it coagulated from. Make sense? Also, number 1 food allergen is what? Milk. Number 2 is wheat. So what am I trying to tell you to get away from? Dairy and wheat. So again, if you don't believe me, 10 days, no dairy, no gluten, no wheat, barley, or rye. On the 11th day, have a big slice of pizza. See how you feel. The other thing is that meats and dairy products have saturated fats. If you eat a lot of saturated fats, they can clump your red blood cells together. Now, there's good and bad saturated fats. Coconut milk or coconut cream, excellent, good source of saturated fats. A different type of saturated fat than meat. Saturated fats get in your body, clump your red blood cells together. Red blood cells carry oxygen. Oxygen gives you what? Energy. You need it to function where? And we said the brain needs 3 things: oxygen, stimulation, and nutrition. I'm a chiropractor. Every time I adjust a patient, we stimulate the nervous system to stimulate the brain. Oxygen, breathing, but also what you're eating. I mean, notice how you feel. Eat a slice of pizza. What happens 2 hours later? Right? I love this. Corporations hire me to come in as a speaker, and I'll come in and have a lunch and learn. bath. Halfway through, I gotta get everybody up, moving around, because they're gonna fall asleep on me. What are they serving? Pizza. There you go. So pizza tastes great. I'm Italian. I like pizza, but it's not worth it. When I decided December 25th, 1986, to go vegan, I decided that, and I said, I'm gonna miss a lot of things. I'm gonna miss scallops, double beef cheese hamburgers, spare ribs, braciole for those Italians out there. And I miss those things. Is it worth it? It's not. If you knew what I knew, you would do what I do. It's just that simple. And I want to educate you. That's why on my website, I give you my radio shows. I have my YouTube channel. I want to indoctrinate you into this life. Because the more you know, the healthier you'll be. And I want you getting at least 8 more years. I think it's a lot more than that. I want you to have a lot of good quality years ahead of you. And with healthcare, we're doctors. We sit around. You know what we talk about now? Healthcare. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? The insurance company's going to do this. Are we even going to have coverage? Do we have to get pre-authorization? What? That's all we talk about. We, the doctors, when we get together. I'm scared. The Moody Blues had a song. Those of you old enough to remember who the Moody Blues were. And one of the lines from the song was, "And I'm frightened for your children. And the life that we are living is in vain." Remember the song? The sunshine we've been waiting for? I'm not going to sing it. Okay. But I'm scared. I'm scared for you, and I'm scared for your kids. Because they're being exposed to more chemicals in a day than some of us were exposed to in 10 years. That's really scary stuff. Autism. When I was a kid, was it 1 in 10,000? Now it's 1 in 55. You think something's wrong? Oh yeah. Okay? So be careful what you're putting in your body. There's 120,000 fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds you can eat. Dairy products, #1 cause of allergens. I can't tell you how many people just gave up their dairy. And they call me up and say, "Doc, oh my gosh, I'm off all my medication. My sinuses are clear. I can sleep and go to the bathroom again." Cool. Clog up, not getting red blood cell function. Remember we talked about vasodilation? You need that for everything else too. And you can clog up the red blood cells. All right, let's cover meat. Okay, because I know I got to get off sooner or later, right? Okay, I'm good? Okay. 50 more minutes? Covered a lot. Okay, meat. We are not carnivores. We are not designed to eat meat. What did carnivores have here? Fangs made for what? Ripping and tearing raw meat off the carcass. If you had to kill your own steak, would you do it? Not you, but I mean, you know, most people, if I said, "Here's a chainsaw, there's a cow, go have dinner," they're not going to do it. It's pretty gross, isn't it? So, we're not designed to eat meat. Carnivores have a very short digestive tract. Anybody have a dog or a cat? Okay, lions, tigers, okay? They eat the meat, swallow it whole, and sleep for about 20 hours a day. Sounds like your old boyfriend, doesn't it? No, wait, no. I'm going to have her just follow me around at every lecture. She's great. They tear the red flesh off the carcass. They sleep 20 hours a day. #1 consumer of energy we have as humans is romance. #2 consumer of energy is digestion. And so why would you want to waste all that energy digesting food when you could be saving it for... And that's another reason why so many people are tired all the time. So I don't want to use up all my energy digesting food. I've got other things I want to have fun with in life. So digestion, and the hardest thing to digest, animal products. Okay? If you're going to eat meat, don't. But if you're going to eat meat, I beg of you, please do organic. Okay? And that goes for eggs and any type of animal products as well. Okay? Higher nutrition, higher in GLA, which is a good, it's a chemical that you need in your body to make the body function normally. Higher in omega-3 fatty acids. And if you grill the meat, well, you just blew it. Because when you grill meat, you know those little marks, not you guys, but those marks that other people eat, those grill marks that taste so good, those are called heterocyclic amines. Heterocyclic amines are carcinogenic. You ever smell a barbecue? Okay, the fat and the blood is dripping down, and it's creating that smell. Those are called polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which are also carcinogenic. Oops. So if you're going to eat meat, don't. I choose not to. Your call what you want to do. But please, if you're going to do animal products, please do organic. Okay? One last thing on meat, two last things on meat. Okay, here's a challenge for you. Let's assume you ate meat. You don't. But let's assume you know somebody who eats meat, and you do. Buy a piece of meat, commercial meat, put it in the freezer, close the freezer, unplug it, leave it there for 3 days. Come back and open your freezer. it's going to stink. That's rotten flesh. But chances are in your freezer, you're not going to be alone. In your freezer, you're going to have visitors. What's in the freezer? Maggots and worms. And your freezer's sealed, right? Nothing gets in or out, right? Where do maggots come from? They're in the meat! And you eat the meat! Why you do that? One last happy thought, and then I'll answer questions. Thanksgiving's coming. Slice open a steak, right? And the juices run out. And the red stuff is what? Blood, right? And the clear stuff, the au jus gravy, that's water and fat. About 10% of it is uric acid. What's uric acid? Urine. It's pee! That's cow pee, chicken pee, and piggy pee. And you dip your bread in it. You weren't vegetarian before the lecture. So it's not hard to be healthy. It's so easy, so much less expensive. I even gave you gift certificates to a good restaurant to go to. So it's so much easier to be healthy than it is to be sick. 3 things you have to have health: a normally functioning nervous system, a normally functioning digestive system, and good nutrition. So if you're not digesting your food, and I say this all the time, 85% of my patients have digestive problems. 15% lie. Everybody's got something: gas, bloating, diarrhea, acid reflux. It's not first date conversation, is it? Hi, I'm Joe, nice to meet you. A little gassy today. You know? It's not something you talk about on a first date, but digestive problems are everywhere. Why? It's so hard to break down alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, and pastas. So if you're eating the food you're biologically adapted to eat, which are fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, you get the spine working properly. Again, I'm a chiropractor, and 10% of your nerves feel pain. So if you have back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, arm pain, you've got a pinched nerve, or some type of irritated nerve. If you don't, that doesn't mean you don't have an irritated nerve, because 90% of the nerves don't feel pain. And that's a big aha moment. You don't feel your thyroid, you don't feel your spleen, you don't feel your adrenal glands, you don't feel your pituitary gland. All controlled by nerves. So what I want to do, everybody here, if you call my office, we've got little flyers out there too, call my office, tell them you heard me speak today. We'll set you up a time to come into the office. Consultation, examination, x-rays, and your first adjustment is no charge. Now, I'm going to put this caveat in there. If you're not serious about wanting to get well, please don't come to my office. We're extremely busy at my office. And I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. It's a lot of paperwork you're going to have to fill out. You have to dedicate probably an hour of your time. Come up to Marietta and see me. If you're not serious about wanting to get well, please don't come to my office. I'm begging you, telling you not to come see me. But if you really do want to get well, I'll work on your nervous system. I'll work on your digestive system. We'll work on your nutrition. We'll do an analysis with you. Maybe you have some deficiencies. We'll talk about that. Many times the stomach, which is supposed to be here, is pushing up against the diaphragm, causing acid reflux. We need to massage or pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm. I work on about 10 or 15 of those a day. That's how common the stomach up against the diaphragm is. And I saw a lot of you looking at each other right now like, that's you. And if you can't digest your food, it passes from your stomach into your small intestine partially digested. That's where it rots. And when it rots, it gives off gases and the bloating. And also, many people with emotional disorders, anxiety, depression, bipolar, even suicidal, you're not breaking the proteins down into amino acids. Amino acid tryptophan becomes serotonin. Amino acid tyrosine becomes thyroid hormone and dopamine. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter that gives you pleasure in life. Serotonin helps you focus and calm down. Many emotional disorders are digestive disorders. And I can give you a whole lecture on the brain-gut connection, but I don't have time. Okay? How much time we got?
You should start taking questions.
All right, questions. Go ahead. I'll take a few questions. Go ahead.
At the beginning of your talk, you mentioned that coffee beans are covered in pesticides.
Yes.
During the roasting process, what happens to the pesticides?
Some of them are destroyed, some of them are altered, and some of them stay the same. So it depends on the pesticide. That's why if you're going to do coffee, just do organic and the problem's solved. Or just don't do coffee. Go ahead.
What about black tea?
Black tea, decaffeinated. If it's decaffeinated coffee, or I think with tea too, many times you use turpentine and formaldehyde as the decaffeinating agents. So if you're going to do tea, try to do organic. They're not using the chemicals in. Okay? But tea's great. Yes? Distilled water, I think, is the best. Although it's a lot of work to get distilled water, that's why I said reverse osmosis is more practical. Okay? Yes? I think the vegetable sprays are very good. Yes? Yes?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Hi. What's the best source of iron for vegans?
Best source of iron for vegans is wonderful because there's two types of iron, heme iron and non-heme iron. Heme iron comes from blood of animals. Very easily absorbed, very good if you want to get iron. Non-heme iron comes from plants, not as easily absorbed, but Mother Nature handled that problem. We add natural vitamin C to fruits and vegetables so it can be absorbed. So if you really have an iron deficiency, anything green, okay, grasses, wheatgrass, barley grass, alfalfa grass. By the way, I have supplements. If you come back to my table back there, I have something called Dr. Joe's Super Greens. It's wheatgrass, barley grass, alfalfa grass, woodgrass, chlorella, and spirulina. I take that with Dr. Joe's Essential Source, which is dehydrated fruits and vegetables in a powder. I have high iron. As a man, that's rare, okay? As a vegan, it is. My iron is high. I give blood every 8 weeks just to keep my iron levels low. But if you're eating a lot of greens, you're going to get a lot of iron. Also, red beets, anything red, cherries, strawberries, beets, those are all very high in iron as well. Yes?
What can you do to naturally reduce blood pressure?
Naturally reduce blood pressure. Number one, you got to check the nerve right here. It can affect the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve controls the stomach and the heart. If you have digestive problems, if the stomach is up against the diaphragm, it can be irritating the vagus nerve, which can cause the heart to beat faster. So it could be a digestive issue causing the heart. If you come in, I can talk to you about that. Let me put in my plug real quick. We have a couple of, this is a CD set. It's the lecture you heard tonight, a little different, and a second CD called So What Can I Eat? I know. That's going to be available back at my table. This is this lecture on video. Some people are visual learners. We have this on video. Everybody should have a copy of my book, at least one copy, preferably several. Make great gifts, by the way, too. If you want to impress your friends, what could be a better gift than a gift of health? Okay? And then I have another CD set. It's called Secrets to Optimum Health. This is a 4 CD set. You can get them back at my table. Okay? So, yes, go ahead.
If you don't take the flu shot, any recommendation?
If you don't take the flu shot, I have a whole lecture on cold and flu. If you go to my website, I think I did a radio show on it. Okay? Yes? Stevia is great. All of them.
Eat right for your blood type.
Eat right for your blood type. I can give a 2-hour dissertation on that. It's way better than what most people are doing. Okay?
You didn't address it, but what about can you eat to stop rheumatoid arthritis?
Rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune reaction. Again, you got to take all those foreign proteins out of the body so the body stops having that reaction. Going to a raw plant-based diet, getting the bones put back in place so they stop rubbing up against each other, that works pretty well. Now again, I'm not a medical doctor. I can't tell you to take drugs or not take drugs or tell you any specific disease. I can tell you what I've learned after 30 years. I see a big hand jumping around back there. Alkaline water, that's a whole nother lecture. My thought on this, if your body's already alkalized, eating fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, you probably don't need alkaline water. So alkaline, it's good to alkalize the system, but I think you should test yourself before you do it to see if you even need it. Take some pH paper, pee on it first thing in the morning. pH should be 6.5 to 7.0. If you're within 6.5 to 7.0, you're where you should be. If you're below 6.5, then you got to really start to alkalize your life, not just your water. It's a good product, I just think there's more to it than that. Yes?
Speaking of pH, you said earlier that soda water was high in acid.
It's like, yes, it's acidic, yeah.
Is having like a high acid diet, are there any major drawbacks to that?
Oh yes, every disease known to man loves acid. Cancer, heart disease, the high blood pressure, rheumatoid arthritis, they love acid. That's why you want to keep the body slightly alkaline.
What about things like tomatoes?
Tomatoes are slightly acidic, but they become alkaline. They're broken down pretty easily. Raw organic apple cider vinegar actually alkalizes the system in the way it's digested, and so does lemon juice and lime juice. Okay, yes? All nuts are okay, yes, except for peanuts. Peanuts are not a nut. A little fun fact for you, we seem to cover a lot of romance today. 1 in 3 sexually active people in Atlanta have herpes. Yes, that's a fun fact. 1 in 3 sexually active people in Atlanta have herpes. Peanuts are high in arginine. Arginine can stimulate herpes viruses to outbreak. They won't cause it, they can cause outbreaks. That's why during spring, I have patients come to my office and say, Dr. Joe, I went to the Braves game and I got herpes. And well, no, you didn't get it at the Braves game. You ate peanuts at the Braves game. Okay, so I don't like peanuts. They also have mycotoxin. Mycotoxin cause allergic reactions. So I'm not a big fan of peanuts in any way, shape, or form. Sorry for the folks that sell peanuts here.
2 more questions.
Go ahead, 2 more. Yeah, oh, yep. No more? Oh, yeah, go ahead. B12, yes. Your body has to have a digestive system creating something called intrinsic factor to absorb the B12. So a lot of people are low in B12 not because they're vegan, but because they're not digesting their food. I use nutritional yeast just about every day. Love it, and it's loaded with B12.
One more.
One more. Yes, you win. Why shouldn't people eat eggs? Because I don't. No. No, eggs are okay if they're organic. Okay, eggs it's still an animal product. There's a moral issue in there. They still have the saturated fats in them. They are high in nutrients, but my question is, where did the chicken get the nutrients from? Eating the plants. So why not just cut out the middle chicken and go right to the nutrients? Okay? Now, I'll be back at my table. I'll stay up here for a few minutes if you guys want to talk. In fact, I'll be back here, right? That's where I'll be? Okay. That's it? You happy? You learned something? Okay.